During this period, he works on two stories with crime themes, while he contends with a rocky romance with a French woman in Paris. His detective stories become popular in the U.S. Publishers are capitalizing on his popularity by selling the books without paying him royalties. By 1960, Hymes's career is on the rise, and he is being contacted about new projects. The same year, his agent arranges a meeting with renowned painter Pablo Picasso. Picasso is interested in drawing a comic strip about Hymes's story, The Five-Cornered Square. Hymes is also hired to write a screenplay about African American culture in Harlem.
When I wrote the last line, I began crying, and I couldn't stop. It was the saddest play ever written.
His belief is that life for African Americans in Harlem is awful, but the play is never produced, and the Picasso project falls through. Hymes sifts through more offers and decides to accept an offer to produce a documentary about Harlem life for a French television station. His program covers the stirring message on race pride of African American leader Malcolm X. The production also includes locations that convey this lifestyle of African Americans. When Hymes attends the documentary screening in Paris, his excitement turns to anger when he sees that the film editors have distorted his work. For the next project, Hymes travels to Mexico, but he is forced to cancel when he suffers a stroke. After he regains his health, he resumes writing and releases A Case of Rape in 1963. This is an autobiographical look at one of his romances. His thoughts about race are slammed by French literary critics. Hymes retreats to southern France as plans are made by a French publisher to release a book he's worked on for a long period, Cotton Comes to Harlem. In July of 1964, the French edition of Cotton Comes to Harlem reaches stores. It's a hit in France and the U.S. too, even though Hymes, now 55, is in a royalty dispute with U.S. and French publishers. There's enough money coming in now to buy a Jaguar automobile and tour Greece. The next year, he marries and rents a farmhouse in the south of France. In 1966, Hollywood filmmaker Samuel Goldwyn Jr. contacts Hymes to discuss a movie deal. During negotiations, Hymes is at work on his autobiography. 4 years later, Golden Studio releases a film based on Cotton Comes to Harlem. The movie is a success, and Hymes is showered with praise in the French, German, and American press. Over the next 8 years, Hymes writes several more articles and books. His autobiography, The Quality of Hurt, is released in 1972. The next year, Hymes's last two fiction writings are published. In 1974, Goldwyn releases a film based on Hymes's story, The Heat Is On. It's a big success. 2 years later, the second volume of his autobiography, My Life of Absurdity, is published. Then, in 1978, a small journal prints Hymes's last short story. During this period, he is battling a degenerative disease. On November 12, 1984, at the age of 75, Hymes dies of Parkinson's disease at his home in Spain. Despite his troubled childhood and rocky early adult years, Chester Hymes fought back with talent, great drive, and determination. These attributes enabled him to express himself in his own way and climb to the top of the literary profession.